This is a very special episode of Crumpets and Kerosene. This isn't like all the other episodes. This one is actually a small arc that the gang is going to go through for the month of October. This episode will explain about the ghosts that will be haunting our crew. And just to spice it up a little bit, the players don't even know that this is happening. Therefore, when they listen to this, they're also learning a little bit more about the world that they're in. So sit back and learn a little bit about the world of Crumpets and Kerosene. Small disclaimer before we get started, there are no dice rolls in this episode. This episode is a collaboration of a bunch of folks that came together to play some NPC voices to help the Crumpets and Kerosene crew have a better perspective on their very first dungeon that they'll have to go through. Hope you guys enjoy. Happy Halloween! The Tower of Magnus Stranglethorn. Off in the distance, a monolithic tower stands in a forest of iron oak and mountain ash trees that stretch for miles. The weather is cold, rainy, and windy. It always seems to be spiraling around this tower of magic. Near the top of this tower, in one of the antechambers, two figures sit in a room conversing about the up-and-coming overlays for the Genesis world. Within this room, a 6'4" tall dragonborn with red and gold scales that alternate all over his body stands, arms crossed. He is wearing a black cloak and is dressed as a noble. Near him, sitting at a long table covered in glass tubes, protruding from the table 8 inches by 3 inches, is a short human wearing a red and gold robe with long black hair with golden interlace throughout her hair, sits in front of a machine that appears to be from modern times, with several tubes leading from the console to the table, interlaced with magical strands and cables.
Well, it looks like the time has come again. Halloween is upon us. Activate the overlays.
It looks like the Exodus team is on the road to the next
Good.
zone.
Activate the Passchendaele Hotel.
Oh, yes, sir. That should be fun.
Let's see how well they do against some of our old friends.
Which ones?
Tell the general manager. He will be getting some new guests, and he should them to the test.
Yes, sir.
Megan, the one sitting at the computer, opens up a command prompt window of the Passchendaele Hotel VIP guest list.
Okay, let's see what we got. Ooh. Let's put Elby and Marianne in. They're so much fun.
As Megan begins to type in /Albie _ Marianne / Headless Horseman _ Demon, one of the glass tubes begins to glow red, and 2 shimmering sparkles are seen flickering around like fireflies. As the light changes to green, the voice of Amelia can be heard coming from the computer.
Albie and Marianne, the Headless Horseman and Demon Witch, are active.
Moments after Amelia's voice can be heard, the monitor flickers on and a video starts playing of Marianne and how she turned an innocent man, Albie, into the Headless Horseman. The year is 1856 in the city of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, when the life of Albie Stranglethorn changed forever. Albie grew up in a noble family. This 20-year-old slender man with black short hair and a clean-shaven face carried himself as one who did not come from money, but was more humble in his appearance and demeanor. The Stranglethorn family raised prize-winning racehorses in Chester County. It was like every other spring day, sunny and the wind was blowing. But at the end of the day of April 12th, 1856, the Stranglethorn family would never be the same. Albie and his father are working in the stables, moving hay from one stable to another.
Father, why can't I go to the party tonight?
Albie, because your mother said no, and you know how mad she gets when you don't listen to her.
Fine, but Marianne will be there and she has a surprise for me.
Son, don't talk about that girl. People talk around.
What? What do you mean? What do they say about them?
Albie, they say that they practice the dark arts. So no, you're not going. You're definitely not meeting that girl.
Yes, sir.
Albie and his father finished the daily chores As the afternoon passes, Albie is out riding one of the family horses. As the wind picks up and the clouds seem to move in faster and faster overhead, Albie rides back to the family house as fast as a steed will ride. A Victorian horse-drawn carriage is pulling away as Albie's mother is standing on the front porch, arms crossed and eyes looking like daggers as Albie rides up.
Mother, where did you go?
Albie, put that horse away and meet your father and me in the study.
Yes, Mother.
Albie rides to the stable and puts the horse away. As the wind picks up and the storm starts to move in, Albie locks up the horse and walks out of the stable. Albie stops at the main door of the barn. Off in the distance, a figure stands in the middle of the road.
Father! Father! I'm about done locking up!
Albie closes and locks the door with a crossbar. As he turns around, the figure is just a few feet away. Albie glances around and spots an axe on a nearby woodpile and grabs it into his hand. He holds it up protectively in front of himself.
How did you get here? So fast. Who are you?
Your mother came to me. She said you didn't want to see me, that you didn't want to be with me.
Marianne, is that you? My father said we couldn't be together. He said that you're a witch. I mean that your family practices the dark arts.
Oh, Albie, my love.
Albie lowers the axe as Marianne embraces him and whispers in his ear.
My love, take that axe in your hand and kill everyone in your house. I command you, leave no one alive, and bring me their heads.
Albie's eyes widen in shock, but he finds himself nodding his head in agreement.
Yes, my love, as you wish and command.
Marianne smiles and moves away from Albie as he starts to walk back to the house. 30 minutes later, Albie walks back to the stable with a blood-soaked bag of heads. Marianne is dancing around a roaring bonfire 30 feet from the stable. All the horses from the stable are hanging upside down by their hind legs from the trees, blood dripping from their headless corpses. As Albie walks down the road, he sees what's happened, and tears run down his face. Albie's will to fight, the spell is gone. As Albie walks up to the fire, he looks at Marianne. Her nude body and flowing blonde hair are covered in blood, and her emerald green eyes are shimmering from the flames of the fire. Albie drops the bag and axe at her feet.
What now, my love?
Throw the bag in the fire.
Yes, my love.
Albie picks up the bag, and with tears running down his face, he throws the bag into the fire. Marianne walks over, holding a scythe in both hands.
Now look into the fire, my love, and tell me what you see.
Albie drops onto his knees and puts his head into the fire as Marianne swings the scythe and takes Albie's head off.
I love that video.
It's not a video, my dear. The creator has traversed time and space to find these special NPCs. Who else do we have?
Let's see. Oh, Jenny, the Dark Witch.
As Megan starts to type out the next command, /Ginny _ the Dark Witch, the next glass tube sparks to life. It fills with a red light, and the light illuminates the room. A flickering spark flows around the tube wildly. Shortly after pressing enter, the tube turns green, and the voice of Amelia can be heard.
Jenny, the Dark Witch, is...
A small crowd is gathered next to a steel pond, nestled within some trees, in a wide open valley. The year is 1692, and the sky is gray and wispy slightly. Whispers are heard throughout the crowd, and the air is tense as a tall and slender man steps forward, pulling a young girl with him. Her hands are bound, and she stumbles as he ushers her over to the edge of the pond and stands her in front of him.
Jennifer Wilson, you have been brought here today to be tried for crimes of witchcraft.
The man seems to be addressing the crowd more than the girl in front of him. She glares back slightly.
It has been ruled that you will face a test of swimming. You will be judged by God, and we shall see if the water will reject your wicked soul.
Yes, of course. A swimming test. Though, of course, I was baptized as an infant with all the others. Not that it matters, they intend to hang me either way.
If the water accepts you and cleanses you, you will have shown your innocence, and you may walk a free woman. And if the water rejects you, it will show that you have been corrupted and that witchcraft has entered our quiet town.
I wonder how many will be accused after me. Will they discover the others if I'm proven guilty?
Ginny looks over the crowd, searching for the faces of the other members of her coven. The younger girls look frightened, worried for Ginny's life and their own. Ginny locks eyes with the crowd, who is looking at her with a grave acceptance. She nods slightly.
I will not let them hang me. I will not let them find the others. This will end here.
Ginny turns to the man with anger in her eyes.
I have done nothing to you people. I'm a child. An innocent.
We will let God judge for us.
Two large men grab Ginny under her arms and lift her high in the air.
I'm a child. An innocent.
The men hurl Ginny into the water. Her body lands squarely in the middle of the pond. With a splash, the crowd gasps. Ginny opens up her eyes, but the pond water is murky and muddy. She is scared, but she has made up her mind. She breathes out her last breath of air, sinking lower until her back gently rests on the sandy bottom.
It's very dark down here.
Ginny lies motionless at the bottom. As the last few bubbles float away, her chest strains. Knowing that they would come for her body soon, she takes a deep breath.
Oh man, that would suck to go out like that. Yikes.
Yes, that's why she is perfect for this mission. Now let's see. Send...
Magnus looks over the shoulder of Megan at the list of NPCs on the computer.
Send the druids. Those two, Morgan and Beatrice.
Yes.
As Megan starts to type out the next command, /Morgan/Beatrice_Salem/ancestors. The glass tube glows red and two shimmering sparks flicker around like fireflies, and the light turns green. The voice of Amelia can be heard.
The druid witches Morgan and Beatrice are active.
Since the early 1990s, as children, both Morgan and Beatrice have been renting the same cabin in Salem, Massachusetts. For the whole month of October to the first day of November, these two childhood friends could now spend their time practicing their craft. Both of them, well respected within the fortune-telling community, have spent the last 30 years practicing and exploring their craft. The location of the cabin isn't chosen randomly. Morgan and Beatrice picked this location because both of their ancestors formerly resided within this town in Salem. On October 2nd, Morgan and Beatrice were hiking within the forest area near the cabin when they discovered a cave that they've never noticed before, unearthed by weather and a storm previously that struck the area before they arrived. Having never noticed this cave, curious, they both enter and explore the cave. Once inside, they came across a wooden box that was covered in strange writing and symbols, unknown to both of them. It took some time, but the two took the box. It was quite heavy and large, and took them a while to get it back to the cabin. Several hours had passed after they returned. Beatrice, the most curious of the both, started cleaning off an area near the cobblestone fireplace and table which they sat at when they would eat their meals in the evening. As Morgan finished making their dinner, they sat on opposite sides of each other. As they ate their soup, they talked about what wondrous items may be held within this box that they discovered that they've never seen before or heard of. Once dinner was finished, they both decided that it was time to open up their newfound treasure. The box appears to be 2 feet long by 12 inches, with brass hinges on one side of the box and copper clasps lay on the opposite side. They look at each other with excitement in their eyes as they both put one hand on each clasp and unlock the box. Smiles appear on both their faces as they open up the box to see its content. On one side of the box, several parchment are rolled in scroll form, while several others are folded neatly like notes, with seals locking all of them closed. On the other side of the box, a game board appears to be folded inside, along with game pieces that appear to be in a small container on top of the larger game board.
Holy shit, this is a Ouija board.
It looks really old.
As Morgan and Beatrice examine the items within the box, both pull out pieces and open them, leaving the parchment in the pockets. Morgan examines some of the pieces more closely as Beatrice grabs the board and inspects it a little bit closer.
Yep, this is a Ouija board. Old, but it's a Ouija board.
Very nicely crafted. Olive wood and cherry oak, I think.
Looks like we have an upgrade.
Hell yeah. This one looks way cooler than the one that we have.
Simultaneously, they both look over at the other Ouija board, tarot cards, and books they have scattered all around, and then they both look back at the current new board. As they look inside the box to examine further, they find more goodies.
Oh, look! There's candles underneath the board.
It does look definitely handmade and old. These candles feel funny, and they are heavy too. Oh, there are numbers on them.
That looks like there's some writing on the bottom, underneath the candles.
Morgan removes the rest of the candles and sets them aside, as both curiously look at the writing.
It appears to be names, I think. Some written in pen, some in pencils, all different types of handwriting with dates next to them.
Oh wow, looks like some are crossed out.
Both Morgan and Beatrice look at each other with excitement, along with cold chills that run down their body at the same time, as Beatrice runs over to the table and removes all of the stuff that they had laid out previously. Morgan begins to take all the candles out of the holders and replace them with new ones. Beatrice hurries back to the table and grabs the new Ouija board and puts it on the table.
I'll grab the box.
Perfect. I'll get the fire going and water for the tea.
This is going to be so much fun.
As both Morgan and Beatrice excitedly run around the cabin getting everything in order, a thunderstorm can be heard outside. Darkness slowly creeps over the cabin as the fog slowly rolls over the ground, leaving an eerie, misty sight to be seen. Beatrice goes over and grabs the box. As she closes the box and carries it over to the table, a rattle can be heard as she's moving.
Hey, do you hear that? There's something in here, underneath all the papers.
Sweet, more hidden treasures.
Beatrice removes the papers. Underneath them, 3 boxes are hidden. She opens one box at a time, her eyes and mouth wide open in shock and amazement.
Is that real gold? It's a locket and a big one.
Yes! Another deck of tarot cards.
Holy shit! There's 2 diamond rings in here.
As both women are examining the rings, lightning begins to flicker as thunder rolls across the sky and can be heard from outside. Lightning flashes that seem to light the room up each time. Both Morgan and Beatrice stop what they're doing as the Ouija board pieces begin to move on to the board by themselves. 13 small icons roll from a small compartment unknown to the girls. The game pieces slide onto the edge of the board.
What the fuck? What's happening? What's happening right now? This is crazy and cool at the same time.
Morgan and Beatrice look at each other with fear in their eye and concern on their face. The power goes out, and the candles and fireplace immediately ignite. Both girls jump back from the table, knocking their chairs over as lightning flashes outside and the wind can be heard like a hurricane is forming.
What the hell is happening? I don't know. Is this a game or are we really about to do some dark shit?
Ouch! Rings just burnt my hand!
The one ring that Morgan didn't put on her hand begins to warm as it burns her hand and she drops it. As the ring falls from her hand, it rolls across the table and stops at the edge. With the diamond facing Beatrice, it shimmers and captures her eye, drawing her in closer and closer. As she reaches out her hand with no will, or restraint. She grabs the ring and puts it on her finger.
I can't seem to stop myself.
As both the women hold their hands up, their rings flash bright blue light. It emanates throughout the room. Outside, the lightning storm gets louder. The women's outfits that they're currently wearing spiral off their bodies. As the amulet on the table opens up, a shimmering red light fills the room. Both women are now clothed in Victorian-style outfits, adorned with jewels and other trinkets. They both look at each other with excitement. They embrace each other as the television flickers on, and a commercial for a hotel can be played in the background. Both women look at the TV, mesmerized by the commercial. They watch intently as the person on the show invites them both by name. They start walking towards the television uncontrollably as the room envelops with a bright flash. Everything in the room disappears.
These two are wild, but I don't think they're going to be evil
True,
enough.
but they are now possessed by members of Jenny's clan.
That should be fun to watch.
Oh, look at this. That one, Bill.
Yes, sir.
As Megan starts to type out the next command, /psycho_Bill, a glass tube glows red. 2 shimmering sparks flicker around like fireflies.
Hey, there are 2 loading.
Oh, that's right. Ted is with him. This should be interesting.
Yes, sir.
Megan presses the enter key as the voice of Amelia can be heard.
Psycho Bill and Demon Ted are active.
The air is cold and smells damp of mold in this Portland, Oregon basement. The year is October 19th, 1988. Bill, the homeowner, is dancing around the room. He's holding a bottle of whiskey in one hand and a book in the other. The television is playing in the background. A news reporter can be heard talking about a missing person. Bill, stumbling around the room.
You're not gonna find her. You couldn't find the others.
Bill stumbles around more as he tilts his head back and drains the rest of the whiskey bottle into his mouth.
Oh, that went fast. Hey, I got something for you. This is my precious.
Bill stumbles over to an opening, a makeshift well that he dug out a few years earlier. He takes the empty bottle of whiskey and throws it carelessly down the bottom of the well.
Look out below!
The bottle spins down the well. It lands on the ground next to Kelly, Bill's newest precious that he captured a few days earlier.
Hey! What the fuck? You asshole. That could have hurt me. This guy is crazy. I need to get the fuck out of this well.
The well is 5 feet wide and 30 feet deep. Bill starts to dance around the room again. With his book in his hand, he holds the book up high and moves around. He plops down on the couch next to an old ragged teddy bear.
Hey, you're on the news. This week, next week, someone else.
What do you mean? What are you gonna do to me? What are you going to do to me?
Bill shuffles around on the couch looking for something to throw at the well.
Hey, shut up. Shut up. I'm watching Mommy and Daddy cry for me.
They're crying for me. Me! You crazy fuck.
No, Precious. They cry for Bill. They always cry for Bill's precious.
Bill grabs Teddy and holds him tightly as he continues to watch the news.
Hey, buddy. We're gonna have so much fun with our new precious.
Hell yeah, Bill. Just like the others.
Hey! Who else is up there? Help! Help me! Help me! Help me, please!
Bill, she sounds like a lot of work. We better take our time.
Yeah, you're probably right, Teddy.
As Bill's on the couch holding Teddy, thunder and lightning can be heard from outside. The lights flicker on and off. Bill's eyes open wide, and he stands up fast, looking around with a panicked look on his face.
Oh, no, no, the darkness, no!
The darkness? Are you fucking kidding me? Are you afraid of the dark? What the fuck is going on? I'm in fucking hell, and the devil is afraid of the dark?
Don't worry, Bill. I'm still your thunder buddy.
As Bill runs over to the well, with fear on his face and anger in his voice, he trips over backpacks and camping gear from all the previous Bill guests. As Bill gets to the well, the lights flicker again, and he braces himself on the edge of the well. The television newscaster changes from a missing girl to an emergency weather report. Bill looks inside the well to see a college student at the bottom. Thin, with long brown hair and green emerald eyes. She looks like she's been down there for days.
What the fuck is wrong with you? Let me out of here. God damn it!
Kelly looks up at Bill. He appears to be wearing a mask stitched of something she can't recognize. As the lights flicker, Kelly can now see the man that took her. He has long brown hair, appears to have brown eyes, unshaven face. Each time he smiles, she can tell that he is missing teeth, and the mask seems to move with every facial expression that he makes.
Hey, what are you gonna do to me? Or are you going to run away when the lights flicker out again? You big bitch.
Precious, shut your mouth. Shut up.
You heard Bill. Shut up. Shut your
As Kelly
mouth.
looks up at Bill, she can see a teddy bear in his hands. It's brown with dark, dried blood spots all over it. As the lights flicker, Teddy's eyes are red, and during the darkness, all that Kelly can see is red, beating eyes staring back at her.
What the fuck? Is that a teddy bear? You big fucking baby.
I'm not a baby, you bitch. Bill's gonna fix it. Precious, I'm gonna make it all better, Teddy.
Oh,
Hey friends, happy
fuck.
Barbie here, and I want to tell you about the Passion Day. It's a
They're
five-star
alive?
luxury
Yeah, I'm alive. Fever ready, motherfucker.
Bill's looking down the well. The television flickers on to a commercial for a hotel.
Yes, that's right.
Bill
6
turns
rooms, both indoor
curious
and out.
to the
Has the world got
television.
you on nerves? Then
As the
retreat to one
power
of our
flickers
four
off,
spas.
the
Melt your
television
worries
is
away.
the only thing
Croquet,
that's
you
left
say?
on for
That's the
power.
whole time.
No!
Here's the Passchendaele.
The
Typically in
darkness.
either of our two miniature golf
Ah.
courses. Dine in luxury at any of our four restaurants.
Ah.
Our most
What the fuck,
exquisite
dude?
dishes. Our pub has
Such
exotic beers
a
on
Bill
tap, or
starts
you can
walking
sample wines and
slowly
spirits from
over
around
to
the
the
world. Relax
television.
in one of our
Bill
two
turns
cigar lounges.
completely
Feeling
facing the
romantic? Then dance the
television.
night away in our lounge
Eyes
ballroom,
locked
where Elvis
on
and the
to the
NPCs
voice
perform Ironhead's
of the
great
gentleman
hits daily.
speaking on the
You won't be behind the
television.
eight ball when you retire to
What's
our
this?
recreation,
What
where
is
you can
this? Did the
enjoy
TV set my
cards,
name?
more darts.
I'll
Hurry
be
now to
back.
any of our
Hey,
6 rooms, 5
where are you
luxury suites,
going?
or the master suite. Remember,
Hey!
Happy Harvey
Hey!
will tell you about
Don't
the
leave
Passion
me.
Day. It's a
Take me
5-star
with you.
world-class luxury resort.
Fuck!
Our smiling
Leaving
staff is
Teddy
from bread
to be
and
sitting on the
sweet
edge of the
meals.
well,
Tasty and memorable.
looking
Can you
down
be
at
excited and
Kelly.
relax at the same
I'm
time?
talking
You bet your
Teddy.
life. On-site
Will you be
amenities
my
include 6.
friend?
Yes, that's
Fuck you, bear.
Hey, Jenny. Looks like you're coming with
As
us.
Teddy's and Kelly's eyes lock, a blinding flash of light emanates from Teddy's eyes. It envelops inside of the well. As Kelly looks up at it, she screams and disappears. Bill hears the scream, turns his head slightly, and Teddy turns his head and looks at Bill.
Bill, you weak son of a bitch. Why don't you come and get me?
Bill reaches out his hand and grabs Teddy, and he starts making his way back towards the television. As a blinding flash of light envelops the room, Teddy, Bill, and Kelly all disappear.
Damn, that bear is wild, and that guy is a trip.
Yes, they should be fun. Bill and Ted own the dungeon. Now, send...
Magnus looks over the shoulder of Megan at the list of NPCs on the computer.
Let me pick one.
Fine, go ahead.
Let's see. Oh, yeah, Becky. That's
Oh,
the
yeah,
one.
she will be great.
Yes, sir.
As Megan starts to type out the next command, \Becky _the _psycho _obsessed. A glass tube glows red, and 3 shimmering sparks fly around like fireflies. As the light changes to green, the voice of Amelia can be heard.
Becky, the psycho-obsessed, is active.
The year is 1965. Becky and her husband Mark live in a small town of Anaconda, Montana. Becky, a once well-loved school teacher of 25 years, now a housewife of a well-off marketing executive. Her husband Mark, best known as one who drinks too much and loves more than Becky would like. Over the last 15 years, Becky has been writing book after book. Becky writes fiction books that follow her one true love, Mark Brown, a nonfiction author of a string of books that empower the lead character, Beth Brown. Fate would have it 3 days earlier, Becky and her husband were at a bookstore where Mark Brown was signing his latest book. After hours and hours of conversation, Becky convinced Mark to come over to their house for dinner. It's been 3 days since anybody heard anything from Mark Brown.
Oh, Mark, I've been waiting for this moment for years.
Becky stands at the door that leads down to the basement. She starts to unlock each of the sliding locks on the door. She removes the brace that holds the door shut and removes small seals that would let her know if anybody tampered with the door while she was gone during the day. Once the door swings open, the smell of mold and damp, stagnant air wafts through the house.
Oh! I'm coming, my love!
Becky walks down 35 steps to a landing where a second door is in place, and 3 sliding pipes are bracing the door at the top, middle, and bottom. She starts to remove each one of these bars.
I wish Mark would just help me with my last chapter, book 6, and I'll be all caught up with Mr. Brown.
As the door opens and Becky walks in, the room is lit with candles. 2 wooden tables are facing each other in the middle of the room. Centered on each table are 2 vintage 1827 calligraph typewriters. They are centered on each desk. On each side are stacks of fresh paper, inkwells, and pens. A third table with a calligraph in the middle of it sits on the opposite side of both of the tables, centered.
How are my boys doing today? It's so cold outside, today is a storm is coming. So are we going to work by fire or candlelight tonight?
As Becky makes her way to the fireplace, she touches the shoulders of one of the hooded individuals sitting at one of the tables as they cry and struggle to move free. As she passes the other hooded person, he does the same thing, struggles to get free.
Now boys, if you keep moving like that, you're going to pop out the lines again. That was such a mess last
Becky
time.
stands in front of the fireplace and grabs dry wood from a pile next to the opening, and she throws enough to fill it up. She then walks over to a giant collection of crumpled up paper on the ground. She picks up 2 handfuls and brings them back to the fireplace. She begins to stuff the paper in between the wood. She does this process a few more times to make sure that she's satisfied that there's enough paper to light the wood. Becky then grabs a box of matches that are on top of the mantle. She begins to light the paper in several different areas. She then stands up and turns a knob that activates the gas line. As gas pours in, it begins to hiss as it meets the open flame and it ignites. Both men sitting in the chairs begin to struggle and scream louder, but words can't be heard because their mouths are covered.
This should help us work a nice fire, and the candles will help set the mood. Oh, stop it! I only left the gas on a little bit the other day. You'll be fine. Besides, I'll be down here the whole night with both of you.
Becky walks over to one of the men and pulls the hood off his face to reveal a middle-aged man with salt and pepper, short hair with a beard to match. She then walks over to the other person and removes the hood with the same looks and build as the other one that sits across from him.
All right, boys, let's get this show on the road. Where did we leave off?
Both men can be identified now. One, her husband, the other, her love. Both men have tears running down their faces as they begin to type. They grit their teeth and moan each time the slide starts back over at the beginning of the lines. IVs flow from their veins into their arms. As these vintage typewriters have been modified, they don't use ink to type the words. Instead, blood has replaced the ink. Both men struggle as they begin to type faster and faster, uncontrollably.
I'm so excited that both of you decided to help me finish this final masterpiece. I just hope that you can finish these last of these pages before it's too late.
Speechless and without will, both men began to transcribe page after page that Becky puts in front of them. She watches them type furiously as they wither away slowly. Over several hours, they become pale and weak. A storm can be heard from outside. Lightning and thunder is getting louder and louder as the lights begin to flicker.
Nothing to worry about, my love. Tonight we work through these amazing ambiance of blowing wind, lightning, and rain.
As the power completely shuts off, a small television in the corner of the room begins to flicker. A commercial for a hotel appears. The man on the television begins to speak about how amazing and wonderful this resort, spa, and getaway is. Becky's annoyed. She begins to walk over to the television to turn it off.
What is wrong with that gosh darn TV? No one has time for this nonsense.
Once Becky reached the television, she stopped in front of it. The man called her by her name and began to describe how amazing and wonderful it would be if she finished her book here in the luxury suite where all of her work can be done in silence.
Oh, that sounds amazing. Wonder how he knows my name. Yes, I'd love to. My boys are gonna have so much fun.
Both men look weak from blood loss. They struggle to look up at Becky as she's walking back towards them. Their pale white faces and hands. They turn to look at the television as a bright flash of light absorbs the room. Moments later, the room is empty.
I love her story. It tells a great story.
Yes, that's why she's perfect. Now let's see. I guess if we send Jenny, we must send Abigail.
Help the guest.
Maybe, but that's the fun of it. What can she give them? Go ahead and send her.
Yes, sir.
As Megan starts to type out the next command, \Abigail _ innocent, a glass jar begins to glow red. A shimmering spark flickers around like a firefly. The tube turns green, and the voice of Amelia can be heard.
Abigail Innocent is active.
Abigail is sitting in the living room with her friend Jenny. The year is 1968. The air is warm and a storm approaches the village of Newcastle, England, where Abigail lives. Abigail is 12, shy and keeps to herself. She has long red hair and freckles that cover most of her face and arms. Abigail lives with her mother, just the two of them. Both Abigail and her mother have moved all around England because Abigail has a secret.
Hey, Mum. Can Jenny and I watch TV? Sure, hon. I'll bring you lunch. Thanks, Mum. Mum makes a great sandwich, Jenny. You're gonna love it.
Abigail stands up. With her mother's approval, she walks over to the TV. She flips the switch. The TV turns on, but it's fuzzy and out of focus. Abigail looks, shrugs her arms, and she goes back to the couch, right next to Jenny, her friend.
Here you go. Thanks, Mum. Hey, what about Jenny jam sandwich? Abigail, I'm not wasting food on someone who's not real.
Abigail looks up at her mom with a mad face, crosses her arms in anger and embarrassment. She looks over at Jenny. Jenny's motionless, with long black hair that covers her face and runs down her pale white skin. Jenny has pale hands and blue fingertips that have dirt beneath the nail beds. They're bound with rope. Jenny is wearing a light white and blue dress that is soaked wet, like she just got out of the swimming pool. Jenny looks up and pushes her hair aside. Cold, wet, pale cheeks appear. Blue lips and wide emerald green eyes stare back at Abigail. Jenny opens up her mouth to say something, but only water trickles out.
Fine. Jenny can't eat anyway. Water keeps coming out her mouth. Be right back, Mum. I need to go get a towel.
Abigail's mom has a terrified face as Abigail runs into the hallway. Her mother looks down where Abigail was sitting, but there's nothing there as Abigail comes running back into the room.
Here, Jenny. Mum, can you fix the TV for us? Sure, hun.
Abigail's mother walks over to the television and starts to move the rabbit ears as the television starts to focus and tune in on a commercial for a hotel. As it plays in the background, a lightning storm can be heard outside. As the lights flicker, Abigail's mother, her eyes open wide as she sees another girl sitting next to Abigail. Between flashes of lightning, the girl looks dead, pale and covered in water. As her hands are bound, she points at Abigail's mom. Fear and cold chills flow through the mother as everything starts to all fall into place. All the doctor visits, all the stories that she hears about Abigail, she's starting to realize that maybe they're true. The power flickers out, but the television is still on. The commercial is still playing in the background.
Hurry now and book any of our 60 rooms, 5 luxury suites, or the master suite. Remember, the Passion Dale when you need to treat yourself. Hey, let's give a special shout out to Bill, Morgan, Beatrice, Becky, and Abigail. Come on down and check it out.
As a bright flash blinds the room, seconds later, Abigail's mother is standing alone in the house. The television flickers. Abigail's mother looks at the television. She sees Jenny and Abigail hand in hand as they walk into the hotel.
Love you. Bye-bye, Mum.
Abigail's mother runs to the television.
Abigail!
What a crazy story.
Yeah, we will see. Abigail has a temper. Let's see who is next. Oh, we need a focus of power. Send the Druid Witches board.
Yes, sir. Loading it now, along with the shops and other NPCs.
Megan begins to type out the rest of the commands. She opens up the Passchendaele overlays and begins to implement them into the system, as the voice of Amelia can be heard.
The Druid Witches, Ouija board, and interactive shops, along with non-playable characters, are active.
Well, that about sums up this Crumpets and Kerosene storycast. The crew of the Crumpets and Kerosene hope you enjoyed the story of the Tower of Magnus, the guest of the Passchendaele Hotel. We would like to thank all who came together to make this episode happen. Jason Dandy played the voice of Magnus Gray, steward of the Shadow Moon. Also in the tower is Jackie Chapman, that played the voice of Megan Moon, Dark Priestess of the Shadow Moon clan. Also in the tower is Kylie Stewart, who played the voice of Amelia Sinclair, a guardian of Genesis. From the first story, The Horseman and His Soulmate. Philip Mileston played the voice of Albie Stranglethorn, the Horseman. Megan Rush played the voice of Marianne, the Demon Witch, and Albie's mother. In the second story, The Trial of Ginny, Megan Rush played the voice of Ginny Grimes, High Priestess of the LaFay clan. Bryce Jacobson played the voice of the Judge of Ginny. In the third story, The Druid Witches, Michaela Corinne played the voice of Beatrice Skye, Priestess of the LaFay clan. Megan Rush played the voice of Morgan Dragmere, Priestess of the LaFay clan. In our fourth story, Bill and Teddy, Bryce Jacobson played the voice of Billy, aka Psycho Bill. Brent Marquis played the voice of Teddy, the Demon Bear. Rebecca Victoria played the voice of Kelly, Bill's prisoner. In our fifth story, The Obsessed Becky, Michaela Corinne played the voice of Becky King, the obsessed writer. In our sixth and final story, Abigail the Innocent, Allison Webb played the voice of Abigail Dankworth and Abigail's mother. The Passchendaele Hotel commercial was produced and edited by Mike Ball, who also played the voice of Happy Harvey. Mike is also one of the D&D 420 NPC. You can find him on D&D 420 Podcast and D&D 420 Guild. Also on Twitter at Mad Mikey Ball, all one word, capital M, capital B. Jason Dandy played the voice of Magnus. and he is from Michigan. Right now, Jason doesn't have any social media networking currently, but we'll have some up soon. Michaela Corinne played the voice of Beatrice and Becky. She's located in New York, and you can find her on Instagram and Twitter at Miski or at MISSSKAE. Now, a word from some of our voice actors themselves. Take it away, gang.
Hey, I'm Jackie from New Hampshire, and I voiced Megan Moon.
Hi, my name is Alison Webb. I was born in England but live in Norway. I am voicing Abigail and her mother.
Hey everyone, my name is Victoria Jacobson, and I'm located here in Grafenwehr, Germany. And I perform the voice of Kelly. Hope you enjoy. Alright, now that I did that, can you please let me out of this hole? It's so damn cold in here.
Hello, my name is Bryce Jacobson. I will be performing the voice of the judge. I will be performing Buffalo Bill out of Grafenwehr, Germany. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Philip. I'm out of Pennsylvania, and I am the voice of Albie. You can find me on Facebook at Agathar's Voice Acting, or you can also shoot me an email at agatharsvoiceacting@gmail.com. Link in the podcast description.
My name is Brent Marquis. I'm from Anaconda, Montana. In this episode, I voiced Teddy, and the best place to reach me is brentleemarquis@gmail.com. I also have a Twitter at brentleemarquis.
Megan Russ, Nevada, U.S. Marianne, Morgan, and Albie's mother. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Megan Russ Author.
Audio and editing for this episode was done in-house. Sounds were sourced from freesound.com and Epidemic Sounds. Cutting and mixing was Vegas Pro 17 and Adobe Audition. Scripts for this episode were written and produced by Kelly Williams. Everybody here in Crumpets and Kerosene, hope you enjoyed the story. Hey Lee, where can everybody find us?
Thanks for joining us on Crumpets and Kerosene. Keep on listening to find out what happens to our gamers in the next episode. Don't forget to subscribe, download, and write a review. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, Stitcher, Deezer, Castbox, Chrome Mobile, and Pocket Casts. Follow us on Twitter at Crumpet_time or on Instagram at Crumpets and Kerosene. Our Facebook is Crumpets and Kerosene, and you can watch our videos on our YouTube, Crumpets and Kerosene. Email us with any questions at crumpetsandkerosene@gmail.com. If you want to contact our cast, you can find our DM, Kelly Williams, on his Twitter at KW_steel_ring, or on Instagram at infantry_kitchen, or on Facebook as Williams Kelly. Jason is played by Brent Marquis, and he is on Twitter at Brent Lee Marquis. Merle is played by Seth Nason, and is on Twitter at Nason_the. Eli is played by Donnie Geronik, and is on Twitter at The Raven Wrote. Amanda Lee Baldwin is on Twitter at Lemonseed05.
I'd also like to give a special thanks to the intro and outro music from Iron Heed, Enter the Dungeon, the song Heroes. Thanks, guys.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, everyone.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.